Alright everyone, I'm here to give you my second Walking Dead review of the day, and this one's called Home, and it's Season 3, Episode 10. And it came out on February 17th, 2013. This episode was sick. I really like this one. It starts out with Rick, and he's putting like boards, I guess, by the cell walkway. Um, and he sees Lori by her grave, and he goes to see her, and she's not there. He was looking at his binoculars too, and I knew Lori was gonna be there. And she saw Michelle, or that black chick that has that impossible name that I can't say. Uh, yeah. Um, and then what else did we see? Yeah, but he goes to see her and she's not there anymore. And then she's outside the prison, so he goes out there. Um, and she's actually doesn't disappear this time. She's right there, and she's like an angel. She's dressed up like an angel attire. She's dressed up in all white, in like a white dress, and they kiss. But obviously she's not there, so Michelle sees Rick kissing nothing. He's just kissing the air, and I bet she was thinking, this guy's fucking crazy. He's kissing the air, because obviously she wasn't there when Lori died. I thought that was funny though. What she saw, because I'd be thinking, what the fuck's up with this guy? And then it goes to the theme song, and then it cuts to the real time, the actual time, and Philip not comes into Andrea's and I think apologizes for everything that's happened and says that he won't attack his people unless they bother him again. And what happens? He says that Andrea wants to go see these people. Andrea wants to go see Rick's group, and the governor and Philip needs her to help her, and he even compliments her on her speech, and he says that he needs to take some time to get his stuff all together. And just 1 second, and take some time, get some things together because he wants to become a better person now, and she needs her to fill in for him as the governor while he's taking some time off. And he makes her like have a tough decision, like these people really need you. So yeah, it gets weirder. It goes further, and then Glenn and Carl are like mapping out the prison and talking about the back way where Tyrese's group had broken into, and they're afraid that the walkers or Philip's group is gonna break in there. So they want to like seal it up, and Glenn gets this weird idea, like, why don't we go after this guy? Take him when he's not expecting it. And Michelle offers to go, and because Michelle knows where his apartment is, and Herschel doesn't think that's a good idea because what happened, because you and Maggie got injured and Daryl got kidnapped when they didn't expect it, and now they are expecting it, so imagine what could happen now. And yeah, and Glenn's trying to become like a leader here. And then what happens is Dale and Mo are trying to find food, and they're hunting for food, but there's nothing than ants and mosquitoes. I think that's what he said. And they talk about how they can go to Yellow Jacket River and go fishing. And Dale says, why don't we go into the shed? We have food, supplies there. He even suggests that they go back to the prison. And he's like, what's happening? You used to be a hunter like we were. And he doesn't even know his sense of direction or anything. So Moore gets done with this. And then eventually Philip goes in to see Milton. And he was like listening to like something in his headphones that made him calm. And Phillips doesn't really know where Andrea's loyalties lie. Um, since she knows Rick's group, and he trusts Milton. I think he said like something like you're not really an asset really anymore, but he trusts him, and but then he said I trust, he's one of his best friends. But then he said that's what I thought about Mo as well, and I want to know if you would take a bullet for me. And Milton says he would, um, and he says perfect. He just looks more like a badass too with that messed up eye. Like that eye patch. He looks more like a badass like that. He doesn't have an eye patch, but you get what I'm saying. He just looks more badass now. I've noticed since I think Rick invaded his group, he's looked more like a badass. I really liked it. I really like what he looks like now. But then what happens is the next morning Andrea's up and she's like, "Where's and Martinez usually guards the wall so the walkers can't get in, but it's like, "Where's Martinez?" And she asked one of the girls and she's like, "I don't know." And Andrea's like, "What, did you see him leave?" And she's like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Who did he leave with?" And she's like, and she doesn't say anything, and then she goes ask Milton where the governor is, Philip, and after she leaves, though, the girl gives her like a look like she knows where Martinez is. And Milton's like, "Oh, you gave me a startle," like he knew, like he was gonna say something, like she was gonna ask that question. And he answered the question really weird, like he's out on a run, like a lie, and she's like, "Is that a question or an answer?" Um, and then she says that's an answer. I think she even says he comes up with these awful lies, and then eventually he says, "I have no clue where he is." Like, "Are you sure?" She's like, "I think he's out on a run." And I thought that was awesome stuff. Um, that was just really funny. He didn't know where he was, but we're gonna find out where he was. He said he went out for a run, and he ran all right. Um, and we find out that the prisoner, I don't remember his name, but we find out how he gets arrested. We find out that about this group that he's scared of guns, and said that one time he stole from a gas station. And she's like, "I thought you didn't steal anything. I thought Oscar was a thief." She's like, and he's like, I wanted you guys. I didn't want you guys to think I was a thief or something." Um, and he talks about how he even had a toy water gun, and he didn't even bring that out. And she's like, "So you got arrested for that?" And then he said he went. He says, "No, I went to my brother's house and they found one of his guns, and I guess that matched the scene, so that's how I got arrested." Um, it's kind of like a romantic moment between them, but it was like a weird moment too, because that he got arrested for that. I guess maybe they thought it was his house or something. Um, then Herschel, and then we find out. Glenn finds out what really happened in the other room. How Maggie, what the governor really did to Maggie, and how she had to heal. And how she took off her shirt to protect Glenn, because of what happened with because they were afraid. She was afraid that Mel was gonna take off his hand, and yeah, that's kind of how it went down. I can't. That's how she really explained it. Um, and Glenn goes to try to comfort her, and she's like, "Get away! I gave you my answer." Um, I think Glenn was too gonna go get like some formula or something. Um, and yeah, I don't think they're fighting right now, but I think Maggie's just kind of. Normally they say I read that I heard in school that people who are a victim of, well, she wasn't really raped, but would have been raped, change a little bit, and she's more depressed now. That she doesn't even get up off her bed anymore. She's just really depressed nowadays. Um, and I think that's kind of not awesome, but I guess it works out. I think they're still in a relationship, but Maggie's just kind of depressed. Um, and then Glenn's going out to get the stuff, and Herschel says, you don't have to do this or something. I trust you to protect my little girl, and I need you to protect her. She's one of the two things I care about. The other one being Beth. And he says, Glenn says though that he has to take charge right now. He's like the next leader, considering the fact that there's no Daryl and Rick's out of his mind right now. And then he takes off. Um, kind of how it went down. And then Daryl and Mo are still looking for food, are still hunting, and they hear a baby. We hear like some baby cry, and Mo's like, "Oh, it's nothing. It's just two animals making love. It's nothing." And Daryl goes to see what it is, and we find out it was like these Mexicans that were being attacked by walkers. So they take them out. Dale saves them. He shoots him with his crossbow. He actually slammed one of the mother and the baby was in a car, and there was a walker trying to come in through the roof. Well, not the roof, the trunk of the car. And Dale pulls it out, and he slams the trunk on the walker's head. It was awesome. And Merle covers them. He shoots one of them in the head, and they just kind of kept going with that. And Merle's going to take some stuff from them since they helped him, and said that they deserve it. And then Dale shoots his crossbow at him, and tells him, "Get out of the car." And he's like, "You better not be talking to me." And he says, "Get out of the car." And he does so, and they walk off, and they have an argument when they left, and I thought this was a good argument. He's like, "What are you doing? You go in there and save people you don't even know." He's like, "They had a baby." He's like, "And you would do something else, and you would have changed your mind otherwise." And he talks about how all of a sudden you and Rick are like this, and you've changed, man. And Mel says, and he talks about, the guy, you and Rick, the guy that handcuffed me to on the roof in Atlanta. And Glenn says, no, not Glenn. Dale says that we went back for you, and you did, and you chose to cut off your hand. It was your stupidity. If you hadn't been so stupid. And he talks about how he's walking out, how he wasn't there for him when he was a kid, and he his book, and I guess Mo attacks him, and I guess he like rips his shirt off, and we find out there's a tattoo behind him. I don't even know what that was about. But then Mo tells him what happened, how he went after T-Dog, and he calls Glenn Chinese, and Dale's like, he's Korean. He's like, yeah, whatever. I thought that was awesome. He called him Chinese. And then Dale says, I'm gonna go back to where I belong. And he says, don't think of me as don't. And Mo doesn't want him to go back because they know they won't take him back. And Dale says, I will be. And Dale says, even though I'm walking out on you, they're the one that's leaving. And yeah, that's how it went down. And then Beth teaches Maggie how to feed Judith. Thought it was a pretty good scene. She still kind of looks depressed, but I guess maybe this is going to bring her up. Seems like they're taking... I guess they have to be like the mother wolves since Laurie's dead now. But it seems like that they're taking care of the child more than Rick is. I guess because he's not really with it right now. And we see Rick come out of the woods, and he heard his name being called, and it sounded like it was Shane's voice saying it. And he talks about, and Herschel says he needs to snap out of whatever he's in, because we really need you now. Glenn may think he's the leader, but he doesn't know. He doesn't know it all like he says he does. And he says, if you need help, you can help me. And Rick says that he's seeing Laurie and Shane, like he says he's not there, but like they're trying to tell him something. He needs to figure out what they're trying to tell him, and Herschel thinks he won't understand, and yeah, he kind of walks off and says, as soon as I find what I need, I'll come back. And I thought that was a pretty good scene. And then it gets awesome. The prisoner and Carol are kind of flirting again, and they talk about how the stress is getting to Rick, and he talks about how he's seen people go through that before, and they've just snapped. But not him, because he feels like this was a better place for him, because he feels like there was other stuff that the outside world wasn't as good as prison. And he asked, don't you ever miss your brother? And he's like, not really, he had a money problem. And she's like, what? He wouldn't lend me any. And she laughs at him, and then he goes to tell her a story. She's like talks about how the positives, and then he gets shot. Um, and I was like, I mean, it was like a buzzkill. Like, this was a nice moment, and then he gets shot. It's like, this buzzkill was ruined. It was like when Carl went to see that deer in season 2 and he got shot. It was like that exact same scene. Like, it was awesome shit. And this was awesome. And we find out it's Philip. And so his run, I guess he did go after them. And then it becomes a gun war. Rick sees it. And I think Martinez was shooting Rick. They were having a gun war. And there was a guy up on the lamppost. And Rick's group and Philip's group just try to shoot each other. And it was an awesome scene. And then eventually this truck comes in and tears down the prison and releases like a shit ton of walkers. And the funny thing was Herschel was where they were. So they were gonna come after him, and he had like one, and he has one leg, so he can't really fend for himself. He still shoots some of them, but he would have gotten eaten. And then Glenn comes back, and Glenn and Magley go get him, and they ended up killing one of his guys. I think it was Maggie that killed him, and then what happened was yeah, the Philip leaves, and yeah, and then I guess Rick's group looks on and realizes that this place isn't safe because now they have all these walkers here, and now that this place isn't safe, and Dale and Rick ran out of bullets, so he had to use his gun, like just hit him with it instead, and two walkers almost kill him, and Dale and Merle come back and take him out. So I wonder if now they're gonna accept Merle since he saved Rick's life. And I thought that was awesome. And now they realize too that this war is on. This is a war. This is war, whether you like it or not. I like that song, by the way. Anytime tonight, so get up and try. Get up and try. You've had all your life to run and hide. Yeah, good song. But anyhow, yeah, this was a good episode. I thought it was awesome. Rick wasn't even in it the whole time. He was in it maybe like 5 minutes in the beginning and then like 10 minutes at the end. So he really wasn't in this episode a lot, but I thought the stuff he did was a pretty big role, and I liked Dale when he this situation that they had. I just really liked this episode. If I have time, I'll review another one. So let's see though. I'll probably maybe try to get one more up before tonight's